Thank you, Carla. Appreciate that introduction, and I also appreciate your partnership. The World Trade Center shares our vision of international trade and trying to increase awareness of the opportunities that are overseas for U.S. companies and for Delaware companies. And so we have formalized our partnership. We are a strategic partner with the World Trade Center of Delaware in order to work together to help provide seminars and events and to help companies grow in Delaware and also to increase awareness overall. Carla travels the world, and so wherever she goes, she's always spreading the word of the U.S. Commercial Service, so we really appreciate that and appreciate the opportunity to be here today and with all of you. So our mission is basically to connect U.S. companies and U.S. industry with opportunities that are overseas because for the United States businessman, 95% of the consumers that want to buy their products are overseas. And companies who export, they grow faster, they pay higher wages, and they are less likely to be subject to the economic shocks and the weather storms that are out there with business cycles. And we've seen a lot of business cycles, ups and downs in the last 2 years. But prior to that, there was the credit cycle, and before that there were wars, and there's wars now. Companies are always coming to us to make sure that they have a diversified portfolio. That not only are they doing business domestically, but they're also finding markets, always constantly finding new markets, and making sure that they are selling the latest products in their industry to consumers who want to buy their products and also want to distribute their products. So we are connecting U.S. companies to distributors, agents, direct buyer or direct consumers, and we're utilizing our overseas offices to do that. And so our mission is very narrow when it comes to international trade, specifically exports that we're working with. So U.S. companies that have products that are 51% U.S. content, but working with partners, we are able to reach out to more companies and help them with other resources and other types of business relationships. Because, for example, the World Trade Center is not confined to only exports. They help companies with multiple types of visions of international business, whether it's joint venture, whether it's importing. It could be a number of different areas to help them grow. And we want to make sure that we're affording our companies all of the resources that are available to them. And in that same thing, we are also working with multiple partners throughout the state. We work with the state of Delaware. We work with the Delaware Manufacturing Extension Partnership. We work with the SPDCs. On the federal side, we work with about 19 different federal agencies that also have a piece of the export pie. And we also work with the USTDA very closely because they do a lot of great things that our companies want to take part in. And we've had some companies in Delaware that have done exactly that. And we've helped a company, an environmental tech sector company, utilize the USTDA for a grant in Latin America very successfully. So thank you very much, Lisa. I appreciate that. So I'll go through a couple of slides about what we do and how we do it, and also provide a couple of examples of some of the companies in Delaware who are very smart because they are taking advantage of all the resources that are available to them, not only with the U.S. Commercial Service, but with the state, with World Trade Center, with the SPDC, and those are the kind of companies that we think that are the most likely to grow, the ones that know of all the help that's out there for them and all the opportunities that are out there for them. Let's see what's next. Oh, this just shows you how we are situated globally. So in the United States, we have about 100 offices, like my office. My office is in Philadelphia, and we have about 4 trade specialists who cover half of Pennsylvania and all of Delaware. So we have a huge area, and we're very busy, but that's the way we like to work. We like to always have companies coming to us for help to go overseas and to get engaged with international markets. And so we have offices overseas in the embassies and consulates. Those offices are our counterparts. So when we're working with a U.S. company or a Delaware company here in the United States that wants to assess a particular market or to understand the market entry requirements or to meet a buyer in an international market, we will then work with our offices overseas in those embassies and consulates And we have offices in all the countries that have been represented here. Wherever we don't have offices, we work with the State Department. And the State Department has economic officers and commercial specialists who are happy to facilitate our services of matchmaking, market research, due diligence. For some reason, they really like to get engaged with international business, and so we have very willing partners on the federal side. Whenever we go to other embassies, or whenever we send U.S. companies to embassies overseas and consulates overseas. And so our offices overseas, they are managed by commercial officers who are U.S. citizens. They've taken the Foreign Service exam, and they usually travel from office country to country every 4 years. But they are managed, they are staffed by Foreign Service nationals, and those are citizens of those countries who know the market, who speak the language, who have lived there and understand the business opportunities in the market. And what they do is they allow us to help companies to get into the market, to be able to identify buyers, to due diligence, to make sure that they are talking to the right people, and that they are working with the right partners in the right industries. So it's a great setup that we have, and it's basically a tool for U.S. companies that are trying to expand internationally. And again, we work with many different agencies, trade partners, and other organizations that have other types of missions. So we've helped companies, with working with USAID, working with formerly OPIC, now it's DFT. So every federal agency that's out there that is trying to do international business, we get involved with in order to make sure that we're helping companies to the best of their ability to maximize their opportunity. So this is our global network, and our domestic network. Our domestic office is in Philadelphia, and so our domestic network and our offices globally, they're all involved in industry teams. And the reason is we want to make sure that we have industry expertise and knowledge that allows us to help companies that are in the ICT sectors or in the healthcare sectors, transportation sectors, and therefore we work collectively with all of our these teams and industry teams to ensure that we are helping companies to develop their industry, to make sure that they're attending the right trade shows that are in their industry and connecting with the right buyers and agents and distributors that are also in their industry. So all of these industries that are listed on this slide here are those industries that are critical industries for that we found for our organization and for the U.S. companies that we work with. We also have regional teams. You can see on every continent we have a team in order to make sure that we're helping companies in the African and Middle East markets, Asian markets, the China market, and so we develop that knowledge and that expertise to make sure that we are coming across the same problems and also the same opportunities, and we're making sure that we're doing it right. We're learning from mistakes, and we're helping companies and providing them with a tailored approach to the international market. So how we do that is through a number of our services. And we initially what we do is we help companies to assess the market. We provide them with market research. We do a market selection process. We identify where their best market is, and we help them to narrow down to just a few markets, because we don't want them to tackle the whole world. It's really hard for companies, and they see the whole world and they say, well, there's so many great opportunities out there, but we want them to have a strategic approach to reach out to a few markets, have a plan where they can go into the market, meet with buyers, and make sure that they're focused on just those particular markets for that particular year. Once they master those markets, then they go to the next market and utilize whatever best practices that they gain to go into the next market and the next market. That way they're increasing their export sales from 10% of total sales to 20%, 30%, 35% is probably the best ratio that we want to have for companies. So they'll have a portfolio of companies internationally that they sell to, and then probably the larger part of their portfolio is in the United States. So we provide them with market intelligence, with export counseling, business matchmaking. That's basically I must have hit something. That's the I don't know how I can get that out of there. So there it is. So that's basically the matchmaking service that we have in order to help connect a U.S. company with an international buyer, where what we'll do is a company will come to us, they'll do the market research, they'll get the export counseling, they'll determine that, for example, Ghana might be their market that they want to export to. They'll complete an application that identifies or specifies what they're looking for, whether it's a distributor or an agent or direct buyers. Our embassy will do the research, identify the right companies, and then set up meetings with those potential buyers in the market. And that's the Gold Key service, which is the best entree into the market because it allows you to have a face-to-face meeting with those companies. We also do an international partner search where we'll provide the company with the list of qualified buyers that are interested in talking to them, and then the U.S. company will then initiate those relationships and meet with them directly. We also do due diligence, so if a company is talking or negotiating with a potential buyer overseas or a potential partner, and they're not ready to sign the dotted line, they want to do some due diligence, they want to check out the financials, they want to make sure that all the claims that U.S. or that international company has made are legitimate, and if they can enter into a legal relationship without losing sleep, without losing money, without worrying that this buyer is going to, or this representative is going to somehow not meet the demands of their U.S. company and not represent their U.S. product the way it should be. So that's an international company profile. It's a formalized program that we do. We also do commercial diplomacy, so we'll connect U.S. companies to foreign officials overseas to make sure that they understand the market. For example, we'll have companies that want to meet, say, the Ministry of Trade, the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Agriculture, in order to get the best sense of how they can do business in that particular market. And we have the connections because we're there in the embassy and in the consulates. So these are a couple of companies that have utilized our services, and they've been using us for the last 6 to 7 years, and they're known to all the partners in Delaware. They're known to Carla, to the World Trade Center. They benefited from the World Trade Center services. The first two companies, Avkin and Advanced Materials, they went through our Export Tech program, and that program is basically it's designed to help the company understand where its strengths and weaknesses are, and identifying the needs of the company, what experts it needs, what components of business, whether it needs more on the legal side, more on the export finance side, or if it needs translation services. What we do is we bring all those experts together, and we consult those companies. We help them develop an export strategy that is tailored for a specific market, with all of the right information in terms of what are the costs of getting into that market, what are some of the trade shows to get into that market, what are some of the requirements and certificates and regulations in order to do business successfully. So Advanced Materials Technology, they are a scientific laboratory equipment company in the area of chromatography. They've been working with us since about 2016. They've utilized us for multiple markets, and they've been very satisfied, and so we've helped them. And you can see their quote. Avkin, what they have is a wearable, and the wearable is basically, it simulates a health condition. So it simulates pregnancy. It also simulates certain medical treatments that are needed, like a tracheotomy or an IV, and it allows for hospitals and clinics to train their staff with these wearables. And it's a very interesting product. It came to us about 6 years ago, and we helped them. They went through the Export Tech program, and now they're shipping very successfully, and they're very happy. Another one, Kango Express Distribution and Logistics Services Company. They were trying to identify new markets where they can have their distribution services. They've been utilizing us in like 10 different markets for the last 6 or 7 years. They've used our Gold Key service, they've used our International Partner service, our matchmaking service, and they've really tried to benefit from all the services that are available here. I know that they're using the STEP program, which is basically the SBA's funding program that is distributed through the state to local companies, and they recently used our services in Ghana because they want to launch a service in Ghana, and they wanted our people to be there to help them to launch their not their product, but their service of distribution into the country. And so that's great to see them previously that they were always utilizing us for Asian markets and some Eastern European markets. But it's great to see that they're looking at other markets as well. And there's a lot of opportunity in African markets, and we're trying to do our best to steer companies in that direction to show them the opportunities. And I'm just going to display a few of those, a few of the opportunities that we're seeing. For example, with Ghana, we know that in the last 5 years, exports from the United States have grown 11%, and they've grown in the areas of chemicals, machinery, used and secondhand merchandise, and oil and gas. And for Delaware, it's been processed foods, transportation, used and secondhand merchandise, miscellaneous manufacturers, plastics and rubber products. So there's a lot of opportunity there, and there's a lot of companies that we think that can take advantage of these opportunities. In Ghana, we have 8 staff, so approximately 2 commercial officers and 6 foreign service nationals who are commercial specialists. So it's very well staffed for that particular market, and so we can always have more companies that are trying to get into the market. Morocco, in the last 5 years, exports have grown 26%, and you can see the industries there. We have 5 staff, so that's an adequate amount of people that we have on the ground. There are boots on the ground for U.S. companies that want to assess the market, that want to get into the market and meet with potential buyers, or they want to do some due diligence on those potential buyers that they're going to formalize their agreement with. In Nigeria, in the last 5 years, our exports have grown, U.S. exports have grown 79%. And so that's very dramatic, and of course it's a very big market. And you can see some of the industries there: chemicals, transportation equipment, petroleum and coal products, used and secondhand merchandise, agricultural products. That's for the whole U.S. Chemicals is the #1 export industry for Delaware. Although in Delaware, what we're exporting there is used and secondhand merchandise, transportation equipment, machinery, fabricated metal products, computer and electronic products. And our staff in Nigeria is pretty substantial. We have 13 staff, as well as several interns, a driver, and so we got the market covered in Nigeria, and that's really very important for us, because whenever there's an emerging opportunity and an emerging need for U.S. products, we always want to make sure that we're there and that we have people on the ground, and we do. So a couple of the events I just wanted to talk about that I think if you're around in September, there's going to be a big event called Discover Global Markets, and basically what that does is it brings commercial officers and specialists from 14 countries to the United States. Our Secretary of Commerce is going to be there, Secretary Raimondo. She is from Rhode Island, and so she wants to be there, and it's going to be a great event. It's focused on the blue economy, which is like maritime technology, so a company that services ships, maybe has sensor technology, drones, those kind of things. So it's going to be a great program, and like I said, we're going to have 14 commercial officers and specialists that are there. So if you're interested in any of those countries, and I don't have them listed here, sorry about that, but I'll definitely send the information to Carla, and she can send it to you all. Instead of going to those countries, you can meet directly with these commercial officers who can give you a commercial briefing. What they do is you register, you complete all of the interests that you have in that particular market or the markets that you're interested in, and what they'll do, our people on the ground will set up meetings with those commercial officers, and that way you don't have to travel to all those countries. You can travel to, or you can just meet 4 or 5 commercial officers that represent 4 or 5 countries. So, great deal. Here's another program. It's the Women's Global Trade Empowerment Program. We've had this going on for a couple of years now. Right now, they're having a Women Export Academy. We're doing it with UPS. It's going on the month of June. There's 5 sessions, so if you're interested, you can register at this. Actually, basically go to the website, trade.gov, Women's Global Trade Empowerment, and you can register. These are free sessions, and every Thursday, so we're actually missing one right now. So another program that we have is Select USA. Select USA is another part of International Trade Administration, and what they do is they attract foreign investment into the United States. I've heard investment from all the speakers this morning about investment into their country. The U.S. has been late in the game in that area. I think we started about maybe about 10 to 12 years ago, And the idea is basically to promote U.S. as the best destination for investment, because what we want to do is we want to attract manufacturers and foreign investors into the United States in order to grow our economy and to also provide a stable location for investment, because our market, while it's very highly regulated, it's very stable, and it's a great place for the U.S. dollar. So with that, just want to put a snapshot there of what exports mean to Delaware. It has an important impact. It means 17,000 jobs every year. There's about 2,350 companies that export out of Delaware. We work with about 250 of them, so we're barely scratching the surface. And there's a lot more companies out there that don't export. So between me and Carla, we're going to make sure that we double that number, right? And also, the majority of those companies are small businesses. 88% of them are small businesses. And the reason why that's important is because that's where most of the jobs come from. And so if most of the jobs are coming from small businesses, then we're helping them to export, we're helping to create more jobs. And the other last piece of data there is that $4.7 billion is being exported from Delaware every year. At least that last year. It fluctuates, and right now it's on a growth trend going upwards. It actually topped out around 5.3 billion maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, and what we want to do is try to get it up to 6 billion and 7 billion. So with that, if you want to utilize any of our services or access any of those offices internationally, the first step is to work with our partner, or work with our trade specialists. These are our people they're based in Philadelphia, but they work all over. They work remotely. They're all assigned on certain industries, and they know all of the partners on a first name basis. And their job is to understand what are your needs, what's your international vision, and bring in the right partners. Even if it's not only us, we know who to bring in to help you. And we also do a lot of problem solving. So a lot of companies come to us with a problem where they didn't get paid, or they have a certification that they don't understand, or they can't get their CE mark. I mean, the problems just run the gamut because there are so many problems internationally. That's just the nature of the game, and we understand that, and that's why we are so busy. So you can see their industries. They all have the same kind of email address, their first name, last name, trade.gov, very easy to find, and you can also find us on trade.gov. So with that, I think I'll end here. And if there's any questions, please let me know.